Top 1 Neapolitan Pizza. Neapolitan pizza is considered the very first version of modern pizza as we know it today. It was created in the 1700s when bakers in Naples began adding tomatoes, which were newly introduced from the Americas, to flatbread, creating a cheap and filling meal for poor sailors and workers. The most common version is the margherita, which some claim was created in 1889 to honor Queen Margherita of Italy, with toppings representing the colors of the Italian flag. Neapolitan pizza has a protected status granted by the EU and other organizations, which means there are strict rules about what can officially be called Neapolitan pizza. Top 2 New York-style pizza. When the first pizzeria in the United States was opened in New York by Italian immigrant Gennaro Lombardi, he realized that New Yorkers preferred to eat their pizzas on the go. He created a thinner, bigger, and more foldable version of the Neapolitan, which busy New Yorkers could get for cheap and eat while walking. His pizzas laid the groundwork for the famous New York style, which has a thick and crisp crust along the edges, but is soft enough beneath its toppings to create the signature New York style fold. Top 3 Roman Pizza. Unlike the Neapolitan pizza, Roman pizza isn't officially recognized by international food organizations and doesn't have a strictly agreed-upon definition. However, typical Roman pizza will come in rectangular slices and usually features a thicker base. Another variation is a round Roman pizza with a thin base, mostly served at sit-down restaurants, which is also crispier than a Neapolitan pizza. Top 4 Chicago. Deep dish. Invented in the 1940s at Pizzeria Uno in Chicago, a deep dish is baked almost like a cake in a deep round pan. This gives it tall, buttery crust walls that can hold heavy layers of cheese, meats, and sauce. It was designed to feel more like a hearty meal than a quick snack. Some love it, while others argue it is more of a casserole than a real pizza. Top 5 Colorado style. Pizza. Colorado pizza, or mountain pie, is a style made with a thick, braided crust topped with heavy amounts of sauce and cheese. It is often served by the pound with a side of honey. This is because after people finish the cheesy part of the pizza, they start treating the leftover crust like a dessert breadstick and dip it in the honey. Top 6 Turkish pizza. Turkish pizza, known locally as lahmacun, is a thin, round flatbread topped with a spiced mixture of minced meat, tomatoes, onions, garlic, herbs, and chili flakes. Unlike Italian pizza, it has no cheese or thick crust. It is closer to a wrap than a slice, but is still called pizza abroad. Locals in Turkey would never call it pizza. Top 7 Paneer Tikka Pizza. Paneer Tikka Pizza is an Indian-Italian fusion that combines classic Italian pizza with paneer tikka, a popular North Indian dish. It features cubes of paneer marinated in spiced yogurt and grilled tikka style, then placed on a pizza base with mozzarella cheese and a spicy tomato sauce. This style became popular in the 2000s when global pizza chains in India began adapting their menus for local tastes. Today, it is one of the country's most popular vegetarian pizzas, often finished with mint chutney or chili flakes for an extra kick. Top 8 Detroit-style pizza. Detroit-style pizza was created in the 1940s at Buddy's Rendezvous in Detroit. Baked in rectangular blue steel pans originally borrowed from auto factories, it features a thick, airy crust with crispy edges. The pizza is topped upside down, with mozzarella placed directly on the dough so it melts to the edges and creates a caramelized crust. After baking, tomato sauce is added on top. Top 9 Catalan Coca is often called Spain's version of pizza, but it is a rustic flatbread that comes in both savory and sweet varieties. The most pizza-like version, coca de recapte, comes from Catalonia and is topped with roasted vegetables like eggplant, peppers, and onions, sometimes with anchovies or sausage. It is baked in a wood-fired oven on an olive oil-rich dough, making it thin and slightly crispy. Coca was once a peasant dish made with simple local ingredients, but today it is known as a regional specialty across Spain. Top 10 St. Louis-style pizza. St. Louis pizza is topped with Provel cheese instead of mozzarella and has a cracker-thin, unleavened crust. It is cut into square slices, often called a party cut or tavern cut. The style was popularized in the 1960s by the regional chain Imo's Pizza. Top 11 Greek pizza. Created by Greek immigrants in the United States during the 1950s, Greek pizza is baked in shallow oiled pans, which gives the crust a thick, soft, and chewy texture with a slightly fried bottom. Unlike thinner styles, the dough is puffy with high edges, and it is topped with mozzarella cheese and an oregano-heavy tomato sauce. This style became especially popular in New England, where Greek-owned pizzerias made it a local favorite. Top 12. California-style pizza. California style combines New York and Italian thin crust with toppings inspired by California cuisine. It is known for fresh ingredients like goat cheese, arugula, smoked salmon, or barbecue chicken. This style started in the late 1970s with chefs like Wolfgang Puck, and later spread nationwide through chains like California Pizza Kitchen. Top 13. Philadelphia tomato pie. Philadelphia tomato pie is a bakery-style pizza with a thick focaccia-like crust topped with a sweet tomato sauce and a sprinkle of grated Romano cheese. It is made without mozzarella and is often eaten at room temperature. The style evolved from the Italian sfincione brought to Philadelphia by Italian immigrants in the early 1900s. Top 14. Pizza cones. Pizza cones are a modern twist where the dough is shaped into a cone, baked and filled with sauce, cheese, and toppings. They were designed for portability and became popular in the 2000s, though earlier recipes for pizza cones dating back to the 1980s have also been found. Top 15. Altoona-style pizza. Created in the city of Altoona, Pennsylvania by the Altoona Hotel, this regional style features a thick Sicilian-style dough with tomato sauce, deli-style salami, slices of green bell pepper, and a layer of melted American cheese. The Altoona Hotel burned down in 2013, but the style was carried on by local pizzerias. Top 16. Sicilian pizza. Traditional Sicilian pizza is often thick-crusted and rectangular, but can also be round and similar to Neapolitan pizza. Each province in Sicily has its own way of preparing it, but the most common variety is sfincione, which originated in Palermo. In the U.S., the Sicilian style evolved to include a thicker crust and heavier layers of mozzarella. Top 17. New Haven, a pizza. New Haven-style pizza was created in the 1920s in Connecticut. It is a thin-crust, coal-fired variation of Neapolitan pizza that became a signature of pizzerias around New Haven. This style has been highly praised by national food critics and has also gained popularity in the United Kingdom. Top 18. Argentinian fugazza. Fugazza is a popular type of Argentinian pizza that originated in Buenos Aires. It combines Neapolitan pizza with Italian focaccia bread, featuring a thick focaccia-like crust topped with onions, oregano, and sometimes olives. Some versions also include mozzarella, either on top or stuffed between two layers of dough. Top 19. Tarte flambée. Tarte flambée, or flammekueche as it is called in Alsace, is a thin crust flatbread from the French-German border region. It is made with an ultra-thin dough topped with crème fraîche, thinly sliced onions, and smoky bacon. The name translates to flame cake because it was originally used by farmers to test if their wood-fired bread ovens were hot enough. If the flammekueche baked quickly with charred edges, the oven was ready. It dates back to at least the 16th century but didn't become a restaurant staple until the 1960s. Unlike pizza, it has no tomato sauce or mozzarella, just cream, onion, and bacon on a cracker-thin crust. Top 20. Brazilian pizza. Sao Paulo has more pizzerias than any city in the world outside of New York, and Brazilians have developed their own wild style. Portuguese pizza features ham, hard-boiled eggs, green peas, onions, olives, and sometimes potatoes, all on the same pie. Hearts of palm, catupiry, Brazilian cream cheese, and guava paste are common toppings. The crust tends to be thicker, almost like pan pizza, to support all those ingredients. Every neighborhood pizzeria has its own signature combinations, and there are virtually no rules about what can go on top. Top 21. Quad City-style pizza. From the Iowa border along the Mississippi River, Quad City-style pizza has malt syrup in its crust, giving it a toasted nutty sweetness unlike any other pizza. The sauce is spicy with cayenne pepper and red chili flakes, and the toppings go under the cheese, not on top. The sausage is lean, fennel-heavy, and spread edge to edge. It is cut into strips with scissors, And the style traces back to the 1950s when Italian immigrant brothers, Frank and Tony Maniscalco, brought their recipe to the region. Top 22, Ohio Valley Pizza. In Ohio Valley towns like Steubenville, pizza comes with cold cheese on top. The pie comes out of the oven with just tomato sauce on a crispy cracker-like crust. Then it gets buried under a mountain of cold-grated provolone and pepperoni. You get a unique sensation: warm crust, cool toppings, and a completely different texture in every bite. The style started at DeCarlo's in 1945 and has barely changed since. Top 23, Korean Bulgogi Pizza. When pizza arrived in Korea in the 1980s with American chains, locals immediately started experimenting. Bulgogi pizza, topped with the country's famous sweet and savory marinated beef, became a sensation. Over time, toppings like sweet potato mousse, corn, potato wedges, shrimp, crab, and even mayonnaise became common. Some chains even created rice crust pizzas using crispy nurungji, scorched rice, as the base. Top 24. Swedish pizza. Sweden has one of the highest pizza consumption rates in the world. Kebab pizza topped with doner-style meat, lettuce, and garlic sauce is everywhere, and banana with curry sauce on pizza is completely normal. Some restaurants even serve a version inspired by skrovmål, a northern Swedish fast food classic, turning it into a calzone or pizza stuffed with hamburger meat and French fries. In 2019, a Swedish pizzeria went viral for putting kiwi on pizza, triggering international outrage. Top 25 Dayton Style. Pizza Dayton, Ohio developed its own pizza with a thin, crispy crust dusted with cornmeal on the bottom. The sauce is unsweetened and applied sparingly, while toppings go edge to edge with no outer crust rim visible. It is cut into bite-sized squares and tends to be more heavily topped than other thin crust styles. Marion's Piazza has been the standard bearer since 1965. Top 26. Georgian Khachapuri. Khachapuri is the national dish of Georgia. The most famous version, Ajaruli Khachapuri, is shaped like a boat, which represents Georgian sailors, filled with a bubbling mixture of melted cheese, then topped with a raw egg and a pat of butter just before serving. The egg represents the sun, and the cheese represents the sea. You eat it by tearing off pieces of the crusty bread, edges, and dipping them into the gooey cheese and egg center. Different regions of Georgia have their own variations. Some are round like a pizza, some are crescent-shaped, and some have potatoes or hard-boiled eggs inside. Top 27, Regina-style prairie pizza. This Canadian Regina or prairie-style pizza is famous for being extremely thick and heavy, often reaching 2 to 3 inches tall, thanks to a dense crust and massive amounts of toppings layered under a thick blanket of cheese. The dough is closer to bread-style pizza dough rather than true biscuit dough, giving it a sturdy, filling base. The sauce is seasoned with Greek-influenced flavors, reflecting the Greek immigrant roots of many Regina pizzerias. It is designed for cold prairie winters when you need serious fuel. Top 28, Milan-style pizza. Milan has its own style that sits between Neapolitan and Roman. The crust is thicker than Roman but thinner than Neapolitan, often enriched with milk and olive oil for added richness. Toppings tend to be minimal and regional, which lets the quality of the dough stand out. It sits between Italy's major pizza styles, not as rigid as Neapolitan and not as casual as Roman. Top 29, Aussie Pizza. The classic Aussie pizza usually starts with a standard pizza crust topped with tomato or barbecue sauce and melted mozzarella. The defining toppings are crispy bacon, red onion, and 1 or more eggs cracked on top before baking, which cook into the pizza as it bakes. Some versions also include ham and occasionally a drizzle of barbecue sauce for extra smokiness. This combination creates a bit of an Aussie breakfast vibe on a pizza and is very popular across Australia. Top 30, Pizza Fritta. Pizza fritta is a deep-fried Neapolitan pizza that emerged during World War II when ovens were destroyed and ingredients were scarce. Instead of baking, pizzaiolos fried folded or stuffed dough in hot oil, creating a crispy outside with a soft, airy interior. It was originally filled with simple ingredients like ricotta, tomatoes, or anchovies, making it cheap and filling street food. Today, pizza fritta is still sold in Naples, eaten hot and folded, and seen as a symbol of survival and improvisation during hard times. If this journey through the world's most iconic pizzas has changed the way you look at your next slice, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the culinary histories and traditions that have shaped our world. Join us as we explore more hidden treasures. The next feast for your mind will be served soon.